everyone, Josh here with Access Network, bringing y'all another Outer Plane video, and today we're going to be looking at the new hero, Eternal, the Fire Mage. Is she as good as she looks? Is she as good as she sounds? We're going to see all that and more in today's video. We're going to be breaking down her entire skill set, including her exclusive equipment. Just how good is it? Is it worth building up and investing into? Is she going to be an incredible hero for a multitude of types of content? What areas of the game is she going to be more prominent in than others? All those questions and more will be answered in today's video, including a little bit of a showcase comparing her to one of the strongest heroes in the entire game, Noah, just to get a good idea of what she can do as a DPS or sub-DPS on top of her ability to, of course, provide you with lots of very useful debuffs. So, let's go ahead and get into the actual showcase first before we actually do the breakdowns. We're going to be doing things a little bit different today, a little bit in reverse, if you will. So what we want to do first is we want to go to Adventure, and then we want to go into the Ava's Tactical Guide. So in the Tactical Guide, after you've cleared all of them, you'll unlock the Tactical Simulation, which is a very useful tool that I like to use because this is good for testing out heroes at max potential with whatever gear set that you have and whatever team comp that you want to use. And of course, you have to own the hero to test them, but when you do, you can go in here and see what they can do, again, at max everything. So we're going to go in here and select them. Now, I'm not sure. I don't believe that the game allows you to test any of their exclusive equipments, though, in this mode, unless you already have them equipped to your character. So depending on what your talismans are, whatever gems you have equipped to your talismans and your exclusive equipment, if you have an exclusive equipment or not, that will, of course, slightly change some of the things that you might be doing in here in terms of testing. But for the most part, they give you max hero level, max skill level, max transcend, which you can of course turn on and off individually, or all of them if you like, or turn them all on like I do to test things the way you want to. And then of course you put their gear on, and then you come in and you test them out. And then you're going to be fighting this bad boy here, Gustav, who has 1800 attack, 1187 defense, 72,869 health, and 164 speed. You can see some of his skills here. It's just attack, attack, attack. He has no immunities, so it's easy to test against this guy. He's also green, so obviously if you are running, let's say, blue heroes outside of like a Rin, then you are going to be doing 20% less damage, so keep that in mind. If you are running fire heroes, you'll be doing 20% more damage. So that's also going to play a big important role here in today's video when we're doing our test with Noah, and then later on with Eternal. And they will both be using the same exact gear, so keep that in mind. So let's first go in here with Valentine and Noah. I will show you the stats as well for my Noah. Obviously, they're not going to be the same for Eternal because I can't really show you probably what Eternal stats will be because she's only at 20 for me right now. She's not at 100 like my Noah already is. So we're going to use skill 2 first, and we're going to do the same scenario with both heroes, Noah and Eternal. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and hit with the first single dual attack. We just want to go ahead and see what that's going to do between a Val and a Noah here with no defense breaks or anything like that. Okay. So we did almost 10k, 96.59. Okay, now we're going to use Noah to do, her strongest ability, which of course is her basic. She's going to be doing her first attack, and then she's going to be doing the AoE attack. So let's see what kind of numbers we can get out of here. Okay, so we did about 14,326. Not too bad. Now let's go ahead and back out. And again, we're going to be taking all this same gear and we're going to be putting it on Eternal. All right, so let's go ahead. And since I don't have an EE for my Noah, I wasn't bothered using her ultimate there at all because it just really wouldn't have done nothing for today's test. Okay, let's go ahead and find Eternal. Okay. Now, Eternal is going to get all the same gear that, again, Noah had. So we're just going to go through here and equip all the gear that we had on Noah, because it'll make the test, obviously, more fair and more comparable. So just go through here and grab all the gear. And I completely forgot to show you guys the Noah stats. But again, it's not really going to matter because we're not going to see what Eternal stats are anyways to really compare, because I don't already have her at level 100. There we go. So as you can see, these stats right here aren't really going to matter much because she's only level 20 from this viewpoint. I can't see what it's actually going to be at 100, but you guys can go and I guess more or less you can see what the increases are, and maybe you can do the math if you want at 100 base stats, you know, through the codex, and get an idea of what her stats would be. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. The test is still going to be the same. So we're going to go back to Adventure. We're going to go back into the Ava Tactical Guide. I'm going to go in here, and this time we're going to swap out Noah for our Eternal. Okay. So, you know, don't pay attention to the CP or anything like that, because none of the max hero level skill and transcendence are actually being applied until you get into the battle. So keep that in mind. And we will be doing 20% more damage because Eternal is fire, and the boss we're testing against is, of course, Earth. So you also have to take that into consideration. Okay, so same thing as last time. We're going to go ahead, use skill 2, and then this time we're also going to do the single dual attack. I think we did like 9,600 or almost 10k with Noah. Let's see what we do here. Obviously, we're going to be getting that 20% increase with Eternal. So we did about a little over 8k, and we just now applied the defense down. So the defense down was not applied before the damage happened. So she did about 8,100, and if you took 20% of that away, you know, she's doing maybe roughly half of what Noah was able to do alongside Valentine, even with the type advantage. Because keep in mind, guys, and don't be discouraged by her damage either, because she is not here to be a pure DPS. She is a sub DPS with great support utility, because she's going to be providing with lots of useful PvE oriented, and I say PvE oriented debuffs because I don't feel that she's going to be as useful in PvP as she will be in PvE. And the reason why I say that is because since she's going to be mostly built around just spamming defense down, there's not very high defense most times in PvP, because defense is one of the worst stats in the game, and it scales pretty poorly unless you get a lot of flat defensive stats. So with all that in mind, in PvP right now, until we actually get a proper stall meta sometime down the road, you're not going to be running into too many scenarios where you actually need a defense down in PvP against other players' heroes. But in terms of PvE, where you're facing bosses like this guy, for example, who have 1,000, 2,000 plus defense, yeah, her defense down is going to be pretty significant. Not to mention, doing all those additional damage, you're going to be getting that health bar down faster, and, you know, potentially, you know, being able to win more efficiently. So I feel that she's definitely more of a PvE hero than a PvP hero, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We need some strong PvE heroes, especially for Fire Element, where we don't really have too much in ways of DPS outside of like Party, maybe Fenrir to an extent, you know, in certain situations against like shielded enemies. And then of course, you know, you have Iris. You know, outside of that, we're really lacking quite a bit in fire DPS. So, you know, another one was definitely welcome, especially when I can lower defense at a consistent rate. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different than we did with Noah. Noah, obviously, only the skill 1 is really what we cared about. But in her case, we want to try out her skill 2 with a burst, without a burst, and her ultimate. Now that we have the defense down, this is going to be a normal situation for her, because most times when she's going to be attacking, the enemy will have a defense down. So this is still a fair comparison, you know, on a one-on-one scale between her and Noah. So first, we're just going to use her ultimate. Okay, so we did almost 11k. Again, we're getting that 20% additional damage, so keep that in mind. It's still pretty solid. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go through with basic with that. We don't care about that very much. Okay, now we're going to use her skill 2, and then next time we'll try to use it with, well, actually no, we'll do the burst first, and then we'll compare with it on, with it out. So we go full max level 3 burst. You don't really need the level 3. An enhanced attack removes buffs, turns into stealing buffs. So actually we won't use that. We don't really need it. We want to use the level 2 though. We want to get the full amount of damage that we possibly can. So what this is going to do is going to turn her ultimate, her skill 2, which is a semi AoE, into a pure single target with greater damage. Okay, so we're going to see what this does here with the defense down. Okay, 14.7k, again with the 20% additional increase, but still that's not bad. However, that's not going to be, you know, a regular occurrence, because that is a burst level 2 that we use to get that off. Burst level 1, you could probably do that pretty consistently a few times in a fight, depending on how long it is and how many waves there are. But that's not too bad, honestly. So she did almost 15k. Now we want to try and just do this until we can get to her skill 2 again without the burst. So we'll pop that again to get the crit rate up and the crit damage up. Okay, let's do this. Let the boss attack us. Okay. All right, got one more turn, then we can use her skill 2. And her skill 1 did almost 7k as well. Not bad at all. And also remember, at level 100 base stats, Noah has higher attack than she does. So also keep that in mind as well when we're scaling the gear up. All right, we're just going to go and do this. Now we can use our skill 2. I believe last time we did almost 15k crit with the burst. Let's see what it does by itself. So 8600. Okay, not terrible. And now we can fight the boss repeatedly. So you guys and gals get the damage numbers for the most part. Again, she is also getting an additional 20%. So her damage numbers are not all that incredible. You know, and before people say, well, you know, that additional damage, or, you know, she's doing additional damage technically because most of her skills are hitting like 2 targets. That's fair, but we're also comparing it to Noah, who also does full AoE with her bonus damage. So she was also losing a lot of damage in that test as well. So we got to, you know, we got to keep it even Steven here, all right? But in terms of the damage numbers that I'm seeing from a unit that I'm going to be mostly using as a sub DPS anyway, and mostly there for the support of, you know, the utility of providing me with spammed defense down, I'd say she's doing pretty good. I like her damage numbers from what I can tell for a hero that's not really going to be your main DPS. So as a sub DPS, I think she fulfills that role perfectly fine, especially on the fire team and, you know, for stages such as like Chimera, the Twins, any other dungeons or areas that you might need to fight, you know, one or multiple green heroes. I think she's going to perform very, very well in a lot of PvE content. And the fact that she can consistently defense down, to me, is very, very important in PvE. That's why I said she's not really a PvP unit, but in PvE, she should be, you know, near the top in terms of utility, support, and of course, being a strong secondary DPS in your team. So I like her kit a lot, but she can be even better than that, because before we go into her actual abilities and break them down, let's look at her EE. I actually went past her. Here she is. So if you look at her EE, her exclusive equipment, it's actually pretty insane. Gain an extra turn when using Cannot Live Forever. Now that is her ultimate. Normally it's a 4-turn cooldown, and her skill 2 is a 3-turn cooldown at max level. With this EE, her ultimate now becomes a 3-turn cooldown with all the debuffs on her ult being for 3 turns, which means, yes, a 100% uptime on all those debuffs, which is insane. And versus Earth Hero, she gets another 30%, or sorry, another 30 effectiveness, which is also very, very nice. Her EE is very, very good. I might even build that up after I finish my Ren's EE. I might actually work on that next. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll see what happens and what I'm trying to clear, but I really like Eternal. Her exclusive is very, very good. Codex now. Sorry if I'm starting to lose my voice. Where is Eternal? Did I already pass her up? No, she's right here. So we go over here. We look at her max stats. As I said, she's not going to be as high in attack as Noah at base. She's 960. I think Noah's like 1166 or something like that. She's got pretty decent defense, so at 325. Good health at 3,527. Average speed, 124. Nothing too great there. Not too slow, but not really fast at all. She's got more or less the same stats almost as like a Maxwell and a Lapis, which makes sense because she's also, I believe, an Enchanter. Yeah, so she's a subclass Enchanter and main class Mage, which is the same as those two heroes. I think the only difference is she has higher defense than they do, but a little bit lower attack. But regardless, she's pretty good stat-wise for what you need her to do. Now, the speed might be a little bit of an issue for some of you if you're trying to properly speed tune her, but I don't think speed tuning her is going to be too big of a deal outside of maybe like the very first turn. But in PvP, I don't think it's going to be an issue because she's going to get to the point where she's going to have a, you know, total 100% uptime of defense down. So it's not going to matter if your initial first turn, she's not faster than some of your other units to get that defense break off first before your other DPS goes. But if you want to speed tune, you could make that work with your Noah or your Rin or your Francesca or whoever else you have in there as your main DPS. But even if not, it's not, again, it's not that big, you know, it's not that big of an issue because she's going to have pretty much defense down the rest of the fight. Okay, so you're still going to be getting a lot of use out of it. Skill 1, 85% chance to attack 2 enemies and have a defense down. 85% chance for the defense down in attacking multiple targets on a basic ability. Wave clearing will not be an issue with Eternal in your team, with Valentine in your team, and Noah or Rin, or both. Okay? Waves will not be an issue with this team. At all. Skill 2, Fool's Paradise. Attacks 2 enemies and has a 100% chance to remove 2 buffs from the target. If the target is Earth Element, inflicts reduced evasion for 2 turns. Now, at burst, that semi-AoE becomes a strong single target that greatly increases damage, increases effectiveness plus 2 turns. You can increase damage, and you can even enhance the skill to where instead of just removing the buffs, you're also stealing them. Very strong skill 2. No One Lives Forever. This is the ultimate that works with the EE. After she pops off on her ult, she will then get an additional turn. So technically, you can go into skill 3 into skill 2, skill 3 into skill 1, whatever you want to do there. And what's really nice is since the ultimate has a 4-turn cooldown, it'll now become a 3-turn cooldown, and the skill 2 3-turn cooldown will now become a 2-turn cooldown. And with the debuffs lasting for 3 turns on this ultimate, it will be, again, a 100% uptime. Absolutely disgusting. She's going to be a fantastic support utility hero in the game and a sub DPS. I can't say it enough. I really like Eternal a lot. I like her design. I think she has one of the coolest animations for her ultimate in the entire game. The freaking Grim Reaper comes out. Like, bro, it looks awesome. I love it. So, cool name, cool design, cool skill set, very useful utility, good sub DPS. She's a fire hero, which we needed more fire heroes. Now we need more light and dark now. So hopefully they'll start working on that in the future. We have a very, very solid unit here. Now, if I was to put her on the tier list right now, just off the top of my head, with all the categories that we have available, before I really go in there and break it all down, I'd probably put her around high A, possibly S tier overall for the game, because I really like her kit that much, and I feel like it's going to be very useful in a lot of different types of content. So let me know what you all think about Eternal in the comment section below. Sorry, this was more of a longer video, but I wanted to make sure that I broke her down as much as I possibly could right now. So I know a lot of people are on the fence, you know, should I grab her? Is she good? Should I invest into her? 100% yes, yes, yes to all that, because I think that she's really, really solid. And I wanted to do a summon or skip video, but I didn't get it out in time. And at this point, a lot of you have probably already used your summons anyways on either Veronica, on her, grabbed it from Pity or whatever. So I thought, you know what, let's just do a proper breakdown. So again, if you guys want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. Subscribe, take notifications, join us in the Discord. In the description below as always, and of course follow us on Twitter at XS Network, and I'll catch you all in the next one. As always, peace.